Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
What is up, y'all? We just got out of seeing Supergirl. Right here at the AMC. Okay, can't even see it. Okay, my bad. Supergirl. We did our out of theater reaction, but the embargo just dropped. It's Wednesday morning, and we're talking no spoilers though, no spoilers. So and there's not a lot in this movie to spoil, I would say, except that if you're a dog person, watch with caution. You know what I'm saying? There's some heavy dog content. So go in there prepared for that. But Sabrina, what were your thoughts on Supergirl?
I was actually really pleasantly surprised. It's kind of like, it's like a simple and contained story, but at the same time, because we're going through so many different places in this universe, so many different worlds, we're seeing so much unique alien technology, I feel like it made that story feel a little bit more grand, but very, very contained, where we get that kind of character-focused moments for Supergirl. Millie Alcock was incredible. I think a lot of the cast was. What'd you think? I don't want to step on what I know you're about to say.
No. I mean, I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I liked it a lot. Yeah. It's a good movie. It's not perfect by any means. It's a real quick, breezy, hour 40 or hour 45, short, fast-paced, didn't waste no time. Barely any kind of dialogue scenes. I know they were talking about it being inspired by True Grit, that Western movie. You definitely feel the Western vibes in it. You definitely feel the space opera, the sci-fi in it. So
absolutely.
I dug the genre mixes that it had. I dug, like you said, Millie Alcock, Jason Momoa. Yeah, he wasn't.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, that's the one thing. It was he wasn't that necessary in the movie. I mean, you kind of tell they jammed him in because I guess he wanted to be in it or whatever.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa. It's cool. He added some swag too. I like the little prison scene that they had with him, and I mean, there's a couple scenes that are okay, but. It's not it's not, he's unnecessary for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I think about most of this movie. When it's at its highest, it's really, really fun. It's really entertaining. It can be messy at times, but I do find it to just be really fun. I think the writing was very interesting, but also something I don't necessarily love, and this doesn't go for just this film. This also goes for Superman. Audiences are going to eat it up. They clearly did for Superman, but it's, again, the James Gunn, needle drops. I actually think they probably should have talked to, again, a girl in her 20s and been what song should we be playing? What should be on her playlist?
Right.
Because I feel there's a point, and this is no spoilers, but there's a really high action moment, and they're playing a soft cover of a really iconic song. Would have been great. Honestly, I wanted a little bit more energy into there. I feel we expect these needle drops, so when they don't hit, it becomes a little bit jarring.
The film is directed by Craig Gillespie. Good director. He directed I, Tonya. A couple other films I can't remember off the top of my head that were really awesome. Yeah, this one you kind of feel the style, and especially he's big on that 80s kind of style, that kind of nostalgia thing. So this had that kind of 80s feel, had that kind of people compare it to Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of people comparing it to the trailers. It didn't feel totally like Guardians of the Galaxy in a way. It didn't go that far, but you could definitely feel with the needle drops in the environment.
Yeah, and I think the best parts too of Guardians of the Galaxy is that, again, talking about jumping in between worlds, seeing all these different creatures, all this different technology, that kind of stuff I think is really, really cool to kind of incorporate into DC while we get into a sillier era, something a little bit more fun, less serious, like what we saw, of course, with the DCU? DCEU?
DCEU.
Which one is which?
I don't know.
Okay, whichever one this is, we didn't see a lot of that in the other one. I think that this one, adding more levity, allows our superheroes to really be human and kind of show their flaws, and it doesn't take away at all from the stories. We saw that with Superman, and now we see it with Supergirl. So really, really impressed by that. But also another thing I wanted to say, the set designs, a lot of the props and things like that, character designs, I think those really, really stood out to me. Not too many moments. They did happen with some rough VFX and things like that.
Yeah.
But because it feels like there were still really cool sets built at certain moments, there's one point, this is not a spoiler at all, but this whole kind of battlefield is up in all different kinds of flames, and it just feels so lush, and it's so you could see that it's actually a practical effect versus just being VFX and green screen. And so I really appreciate seeing that in a blockbuster superhero movie.
Yeah, no, the action was really well executed for the most part. There's a lot of it, so that's again going expecting all gas, no brakes, very few dialogue scenes in terms of like just characters really like getting into the nitty gritty of how they feel. But you don't really need that. We see some flashbacks of like the destruction of Krypton, or like Krypton before.
Yeah.
When Kara was kind of growing up, and then we see a lot of flashbacks of Kara, kind of interacting with Superman. I would say that's the one thing, like, Lobo, Jason Momoa, a little unnecessary. David Corenswet as Superman, they forced him in a lot of scenes. Like, that felt like a real hammy, like, and it's not a spoiler, because if I look on IMDb, he's literally the second highest bill. It's like Millie Alcock and then David Corenswet. It's like, okay, wow, like, and then, like, if you watch those scenes, it's literally like, they're not super necessary. You kind of see where they're going, because he's kind of like that cousin that like calls every now and then, like, "Hey, cuzzo, what's good? Hope you chilling." Da da da. Like, that's like literally the extent of his role.
Yeah.
And then a little extra backstory stuff, and then like he does nothing. Like the men do nothing in this movie, but it's cool. It's super.
And that's another thing I actually do really appreciate about that, is that this is very, very female focused. We have some elements, like you said, with Lobo, but he's not a focus, and he doesn't really matter at all. But I actually disagree with you about Superman. I think he ties back to what her character development becomes. So yes, the first few and kind of like how they put them in, yes. But I do like the relationship that from, what we saw, their very brief interaction in Superman.
Right. Oh, no, we good.
Oh, no, yeah. Their very brief interaction in Superman up until now, when you lose everything and you lose everyone, it's like, what do you cling on to? And so it's like finding home and finding family and all of that. Even though they are blood related, they didn't know each other. And so I find all of that to be really, really interesting. And again, I always appreciate seeing a very complicated, messy woman.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of really beautiful quotes talking about like how she's messy, she's not perfect, but she is good and she does the right thing. And I just love to see a character like that. A woman that has flaws, but at the end of the day, she has like such a big heart. So I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, they did a really good job with showing you that messy kind of character, that a superhero can be. Not everybody's perfect, and she's kind of going through this journey, and there's a fully realized journey and story at the heart of this, which I appreciate. Like I said, there's a good amount of action, a good amount of, Crypto is a prominent player in it too. The villain was very villainous, very evil. They did a good job showing the brutality of him. Very one-note kind of villain. I mean, he's just like, it's funny. It's like these space movies, like they're just like kind of like pirates, like in a way. And it's like there's not really a motivation other than just like getting rich or like exploiting somebody, which is kind of simple. But you see the brutality of it through his character. Yeah, there's a lot to like in this movie. For an hour and 40 minutes, it didn't feel super chopped down. Like, that was my one thing. Like, I enjoyed the Marvels, but the one thing with the Marvels was that it was an hour 30, and you could tell they cut out like 30 minutes. A lot. You could tell they cut out a lot. But this one, it felt like an hour 40, but it felt like everything was in place. It was mostly coherent. It flowed really smoothly, and like you said, the production design, the cinematography, the technical aspects were all there. CGI was a little wonky in some parts, but
it's always the flying. We saw it again with Superman, and then now with this one, they haven't nailed kind of like that flying shot yet. Especially.
Yeah, they have a hard time with the flying, and then they also have every superhero movie has that like third act, like big explosion, kind of set piece. And this one kind of falls victim into that a little bit as well. We didn't really mention Eve Ridley as Ruthie. She was good as well. She kind of played the innocent young kind of voice, like again the true detective story. Like she's like the Haley Steinfeld, like the person who needs the help from the OG vet. So she was good. She was good.
Yeah, as somebody with a little sister, it just gives little sister coming along on the story, and she does again. Along with Superman, of course, not having that much of an impact on her character progression, but like Ruthie really does. She kind of leads her to where we end up with her at the end, and she was a driving force in that, and so that was really cute too.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It's like a strong, if I had to give it a number, I give it like a strong 7 or like 7.5. Like, definitely recommend it. It's not like a game changer superhero movie, but definitely on par with, I'd say even on par with like the first Wonder Woman film, like on par with like, Guardians 1, like, it's a very good movie.
Yeah, I feel very, very similar. I definitely have felt superhero fatigue over the last few years. I've even missed a bunch of major ones. But I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I would say like 6.57, which is still a really good score for a superhero movie.
7.
I like this one basically just as much as I like Superman. So there we go.
Yeah, hey, let us know in the comments down below if you're excited to see Supergirl. I definitely think we gotta support it. Female superheroes is, we need more of that. And I think there's a lot of people don't like. I will say, Millie Alcock is great. We still love Sasha Calle, our Latina queen who was originally Supergirl in The Flash, and I want to see more of her too. I wish they maybe there's a multiverse thing, a Spider-Man No Way Home version for Supergirls or something. But anyway. This was great. Highly recommend it if you're looking for a fun superhero watch this weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Sabrina, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter and TikTok at SabrinaOnFilm, and then Instagram at Sabrina.onfilm.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DirectorRB3, and follow us at FirstCutTMO. Everywhere. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, comment, show some love. We got more reviews popping. We're going to be putting out our review for The Invite, hopefully within the next day or so as well, too. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, this is your boy RB3. And
me, Sabrina.
And we're going to be peacing out, y'all. Peace.
You getting at me equals a bloodbath. You do the math.